Morning, everyone. I can just see some more attendees just filing in, so we'll just wait probably about 10, 20 seconds just for everyone to arrive. All right, great. Let's kick off. So, good morning. Welcome to JobAdder's Breakfast Club webinar series, where we talk all things remote working. I'm Christina. I'm head of marketing here at JobAdder, and today I'm here with Andrew from Certn. Andrew, thanks for joining us all the way from Canada.
Yeah, thanks
Is
for
that where you
having
are
me.
at the moment?
Yep. Victoria, British
Awesome.
Columbia, Canada.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much for coming today. And let's just kick off. So, can you just tell us a little bit about Certn?
Sure. Certain is a market leader in what we call human risk intelligence. So what we do is we do comprehensive background checks and ongoing risk monitoring on employees, contractors, and pretty much anyone you need to around the world. We're used by leading staffing and employment agencies, the gig economy, and we do domestic and international background checks in minutes as opposed to days. And we can verify education, employment, pretty much anything you need to know about a person, we can help with.
That's awesome. Great. Thanks for that. So, obviously, there have been a lot of changes in the way that we work recently. But what are some of the issues that you're seeing sort of in recruitment and in this space at the moment?
That's a really good question. So in our industry in background checks, the issue that we see a lot now is that because you can't meet somebody face to face, you don't always know what they're going to be like. So it's important that you do a more in-depth background check. And sometimes people think that doing a more in-depth background check has to be more painful. So the nice thing about what we're seeing, and we're seeing a huge influx of clients on this, is that we're able to do background checks without having to send the candidate on a wild goose chase to verify their identity. We can do it really quickly, and especially cross-border, we make it really, really easy. So whether you're in, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US, the UK, South Africa, we make it super, super easy to do that. And we don't do any paper-based processes. So, your candidate doesn't have to go out and figure out how to print off something to sign it. It can all be done from a computer. And because we use databases, we're not having to, get people to go print off a degree or, have a human verify something. So it means that there's no downtime and no delays, which
Yeah.
can be a problem in background checks.
Oh, it can for sure, especially when you're trying to do them internationally as well. So, how would you say that Certn is solving some of these issues at the moment?
The big way we do it is that we make everything digital. So like everything should be, it's all online. So instead of doing manual processes or having a team of people in call centers that are manually processing background checks, everything is done directly to the source. So whether it's directly with the AFP or in Australia or the RCMP here in Canada or with police and governments around the world, there's no more of that paper process, which can take a lot of time, and there's no manual human intervention in 99.9% of cases. So if you have a candidate that's got a clear background, it's really, really easy. And even if they don't, you're going to get that information really quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So could you share some of the wins that that your customers are having at the moment?
The big thing that our customers are having is in high volume temp work, anything where they need to hire really quickly. To be able to take that background check process from days to minutes and even seconds in some cases is really important. We're seeing a huge uptick in with companies like Instacart or people in online shopping, the gig economy, and then volunteers. When we need healthcare workers, we need them right now. Today in Canada, we've had over 3,000 nurses and healthcare professionals come out of retirement just to help fight the COVID crisis. And that's something that we supported through offering, free background checks to those people to help them get into the workforce. And they were able to do it in the same day, where if they were to use our competitors here in Canada, it could take up to 6 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. So when people think of Certn, what is one thing that you want them to remember?
The big thing is speed, and that we're really friendly. Yeah. So, I mean, we like to take the Canadian approach.
I can attest to that. You are really friendly.
I mean, It's one of the things that's in our nature. So our support is world class. You know, we make sure that we help our clients through the whole process, and our user experience is so easy that you don't really ever need to call us, but if you do, we're there. So I mean that speed and ease of use is really important, and then transparent pricing. You know,
Yeah.
what we say you're going to pay is what you're going to pay. You pay on a per check basis. If a time like this comes up and you don't need to do any more background checks, you know, you're not burdened by monthly fees or annual fees. You know, you can slow down or speed up as you want, which is really convenient.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pay as you need. So Andrew's just going to give us a quick demo of how Certn interacts with JobAdder.
So it is so easy. And this is when I talk about user experience. Things like this make everybody's lives so much better. And JobAdder is such an incredible platform for that. So if I go into any candidate in JobAdder, so I can go to candidates here, and I simply select me, living the dream of JobAdder right here. Pardon my internet for being a little bit slow. And then I see Certn in the actions section, and then I can choose which type of package I want to do. So for all of our clients, we set up what we call custom packages. So these are the types of checks that you're going to do on a regular basis. So if you were going to do, criminal education or employment verification, very common thing that most of our clients do, all you have to do is select the action, confirm it, and then the candidate's going to get sent an email to complete their background check. And that process is really, really easy. So the candidate can complete their background check on literally any internet-enabled device. So they can do it from their cell phone, their tablet, wherever. And the questions are very, very easy. So what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly bring up the questionnaire here so that you can see what it looks like from the candidate's perspective. So the candidate's going to get an email. And the email looks kind of like this. It's going to be customized with your branding. So here we have PNW Co., which is my fake company here. And what we'll do is we'll just click that Get Started button, and we will be able to begin our background check. Now from here, all the candidate has to do is enter in their basic information, and it's nice and easy. It's step by step. I won't take you guys through the whole process of filling out a form because I'm sure all of you know how to fill out forms really well. I just want to show you how simple it is for the candidate. I mean, all they have to do is enter in some basic information like their first name, last name, and it's standardized for every country. So your candidate's going to go through 5 simple steps of entering in their basic information, verifying their identity, and then submitting their check. And then in a matter of minutes, you're going to have results. And if the candidate has trouble at any point, they can chat with a member of our team 24 hours a day, and it's really easy. And please excuse the profanity on that chat. That was a joke. And that's how Certn and JobAdder works. Once your candidate has submitted their check, it's going to show up on the candidate's profile. So if I go to my candidate profile here, you'll be able to see the results right on your candidate profile, which is super easy. And that's how it works.
That's awesome. That's so easy. Thanks so much, Andrew. So we're going to open it up to some questions now. So we've had a couple come in while you've been speaking. So Ben said, how does Certn differ from other background checking products? I know we've touched on this a little bit, but could you expand on that?
Yeah, for sure. So we're the only provider that's truly global. So most of our competitors, what they've done is they've bolted together pieces from a whole bunch of different countries, which make it really clunky, and it makes the candidate experience really poor. We've managed to make a seamless process all over the world so that candidates aren't burdened by going to a police station or a post office, or going through some crazy process in order to verify their identity or complete their background check. On top of that, we make identity verification really easy, and we make the entire process painless for both candidates, employers, and staffing agencies. The other nice thing is that we white label everything. So for a lot of our staffing agencies, we work with some of the largest in the world. We white label everything. So if you want to give your clients access to our platform, it's going to have your branding, it's going to have your logos, and every time you're interacting with the candidate, again, it's got your logo, it's got your branding, and we try and make that experience flawless for that candidate. So no longer are you having candidates call you with, having a bad experience with their background check, or an employer that's confused about how to read it. We just make it really, really easy.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. So Marilyn has asked, are these self-checks? What about if you want a police check? Do you do that after the candidate has given the okay?
So we do both. So candidates, so you can choose to do a police check, or what we call a soft check, which is like kind of like a pre-screening or a really light pre-employment screen. So we can do either, and they all take minutes, which is great. I mean, soft check takes 10 seconds. So in 10 seconds or less, we're going to give you criminal and court records from 240 countries and 77 languages. We'll give you negative news and press, sex offender registries, anything you could possibly want to know about a candidate in 10 seconds or less is what we try and give.
Yeah, awesome. So Kate, I've got a lot of questions here, so we won't have time for all of them, but I'll make sure that Andrew gets them and that he's able to contact you afterwards. So Kate has asked, are there any countries not included? I do a lot of business with companies in Bangladesh.
So we do checks in pretty much every country now, and there are some countries that you physically can't do a police check in. And we don't do those checks. So some of our competitors may say, oh, hey, we do police checks in Afghanistan, for example. Very common one. Afghanistan doesn't actually have a proper structure to do police checks. So what you'll see is companies will say, oh, this is a criminal record check, but really it's just a public media search. We go beyond just a public media search, and we'll actually search court history. But there's a solution in every country to make you feel comfortable, including Bangladesh.
Yep. So Marilyn has asked, what is the privacy on this? I assume you have to have authority from the candidate before you do these checks.
Yes. So the candidate needs to complete their information and verify their identity. That process takes little to no time. We do have our soft check product, which is GDPR compliant. It is compliant with North American privacy legislation and Australian privacy legislation. So you can enter in some basic information about the candidate if you wanted to do a very high-level search. But if you wanted to do a more in-depth search, like verify their education, their employment, if you wanted to look past anything that wasn't strictly public, it would require the candidate's consent, which is really, really easy.
Yeah. Awesome. So Audrey has asked, what do you need from the candidate to identify their identity? So what is it that they have to provide that that they are who they say they are, basically?
So we can verify IDs, mainly government issued IDs, so driver's licenses, passports, any form of government issued IDs from almost anywhere in the world, as long as it's a passport, or if it's a driver's license, and as long as it has a barcode. We're able to verify that identity with the issuer of the identity. So it's really simple. All they do, take a picture of the front of the card, take a picture of the back, snap a selfie, and they're done. That's it.
Oh, that's awesome. So Audrey's asked as well, can you make the request by SMS or is it just by email?
So we do have the ability to send the request by SMS or email or both. And we do the same with our reference checks as well. So one of our big services that we offer, reference checks, we can do voice or text references. So references of candidates can actually fill out their reference on a phone, as well as on a desktop or through an email.
That's awesome. So we've got time for one more question. So Fabian has asked, do you have a physical presence in Australia?
We are working on a physical presence in Australia now. I was actually just in Australia a few weeks ago, so we're trying to acquire a company in Australia, which will be very exciting. I'm actually a Sydney Uni alum, so any excuse to get back. I actually just got back to Canada before this COVID thing happened, so I missed quarantine by like a day, which was really good. But we've got very strong ties to Australia, and we're really excited about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Helen said, yes, do it, Andrew. Helen from our sales team.
Amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew. It's been a pleasure. Just to close, if any of our clients want to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can either reach out to me directly, Andrew at Certn.co. I'm the CEO of the company, so if you need anything, or if you just have general questions and don't want to talk to someone like me who might chat your ear off, info at Certn.co. That's info at Certn.co, and one of the members of our sales team will be back at you as quickly as possible.
Great. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today, Andrew, and thanks everyone for coming along.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Have a great day.